So basically, we're talking about what Obama does naturally. I had to learn it the hard way. He makes, even if he's talking to a plumber, or if he's talking about a head of state, this guy reads what this guy needs and makes him feel like he's the most important person on earth. So this is something some of you probably have, and I'm wasting my time up here. But I'm just going to deconstruct it a little bit of some of the things you'll have to consider when you do create this rapport. I'm sorry, but it's like Swan Lake. You can't just go out and do it. You actually have to go to the bar and do the exercises. You might not have time. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's involved. You might not want to do Swan Lake. It would be very ugly. So it's just 4 things, okay? Just 4 things I'm going to talk about today, and you probably know this anyway. The first one is when you come in a room, when you're going to do a sale, when you're going to talk to your clients, when you're going to talk to your coworkers or your stakeholders, you have to know what state you're in, right? Because as a comedian, I have to know when I've died. If you know before I do, I am really dead. So it's the same thing talking one-to-one as it is 800. I have to really sense, who's not listening, and then make sure I can get them back. So this is even a dialogue. Like you are staring at my shoes. So I'm wondering if I've lost you. Or do you like my shoes? Or are you thinking about something? So when I come in a room and I'm with these heavyweights, I have to think, okay, did I get, was my car clamped this morning? So I'm bringing that in the room. Am I desperate to make this interview work? Just have to say, okay, where am I? What's going on for me? When I see Bette Midler, what is it doing to me? Am I nervous? Okay. Once you realize where you are, because we have this thing that we have, which is consciousness. We don't use it a lot because we're very busy. And we got to make money, and we work long hours. But we have to use it to say, what state am I in? So that when I sit down, even being aware of it, it creates a little bit of a gap. And I have a choice. We were talking about that. You have options, okay? You can stop, now you can think. Okay, you can either tell her, you know what, it's a bitch. I got clamped this morning, all right? So that clears the air. You can also go, okay, let's get off me. Let's really be curious about this person. How come he wore that shirt? What's he talking about? Get the attention off yourself. We'll talk about options later because that's a whole conversation. And it also has to come from you. What exactly you're going to do to cool yourself down. So it's knowing what's going on. I always use curiosity. If I'm nervous, if I come in a state, I really want to know what your life's about because I'm screwed. And I really have to focus and really listen. The next thing is self-management, because as a leader, I'm sorry, it's your job to control the emotions in that room. I'm sorry, but it goes with the job. Because if you as a manager come in there, or a leader, and you're stressed or you're aggressive, believe me, it passes through that company like a virus. We're biologically tuned to each other, so if I'm in a bad mood, you're going to get in a bad mood. So that's your responsibility. I always call it neural Wi-Fi. Whatever state I'm in, you're going to catch it, and that's going to wave right through that company. So it's your job, whatever you have to do again, and it's a longer workshop, again, you can hire me later, to know how to really cool down those emotions. And these are options again. Okay, so understanding that it's your responsibility to make sure everybody feels safe. That's the most important thing. I could go on a little bit about biology, but I might put you to sleep. How many people would like to know? Nobody. There is something, I won't go on about it. Or maybe I'll go on about it. How much time have I got? Not much time. Okay, and you want to see Madonna. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is social awareness, which means reading the room. Again, I said we did this in the playground. What's going on in here? Okay, who's bored? Who isn't bored? Who's stressed? What's going on with my team? Because it's better if one guy looks really unhappy, it's better is this because his wife left him, or is this because he doesn't like working here? Because if you don't check it out, he's leaving the company. And you know how much it costs to get more talent in there. So that's your job, sussing out who looks unhappy, who needs to be connected to. And the last thing is social management, which means, as the leader again, you have to know which part to play, okay? This isn't, again, in a workshop, stand like this and be impressive and, be the leader. I'll tell you about The Apprentice in a second. If you really came at your company with that ferocity, believe me, people would not produce anything. That's why they come up with insane things like toilets that light up, because this guy puts so much fear in him, in them. Actually, in real life, he's quite cute. That's probably why he has so much money. But it makes great television to scare everybody to death. Because let me just go back. If you scare people or intimidate them, the meeting is over. Their brains shut down. The minute you leave your anchored state, there are certain things that do happen, which is, it's your amygdala. I like to show off because I've gone to school recently, which is your fear center. It starts sending that alarm off. Then suddenly blood goes into your muscles, and that's why you freeze. Your heart goes up by 4 or 5 beats. You can't breathe anymore. Your hippocampus, your memory center, only concentrates on, when did I last see danger like this? And actually, all intellect goes. It doesn't matter what policy you're thinking about. Your brain has gone. It's gone. That meeting is done. So again, as a leader, you have to say, okay, let's take a break. Or, what's going on here? You know, just call your shot. I use humor, again. You may use something else. You may just name it and say, what's going on here? Again, there's options. You may think, okay, what's with the tie? Just something to break that. You know it. You're picking it up. You're dying in there. So, okay, now I'm going to go to, that's part of social management. The other thing is, what aspect of your personality are you going to use to make this company work? You know, and you should be flexible. Am I going to be a coach? Am I going to be an advisor? Am I going to be commanding? Because sometimes you got to get on the hillside and really tell your troops what they need. And sometimes you have to get in the trenches with them and get down and dirty. So this is where you socially manage. It's a finesse. It doesn't happen accidentally. It also means that when I'm talking to somebody, I have to go, they don't want me to be funny. Okay? I'm going to show you Madonna now. She did not want me to be funny. Okay? And I came with my own agenda. You know, this is where, again, as leaders, we say, well, this is how I see it. Well, that's not how the other guy sees it. So you really have to go, wait a minute, where's he coming from? What do I need here? Do I have to widen my lens?